Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is everything you need to know before Deadpool and Wolverine. Meet Deadpool, the merc with the mouth, whose main superpower is breaking the fourth wall to make jokes directly to the audience. Yes, Ryan Reynolds plays Wade Wilson, a mercenary who is uncommonly attractive. He's just met the love of his life, Vanessa, and after a year-long sex montage, they're ready to live happily ever after. But just then, Wade finds out he's dying of cancer. Yeah, life do be like that sometimes. But a sketchy organization claims they can cure him by turning him into a superhero. They unlock his latent superpowers, but the process is extremely painful, and it leaves Wade's face looking like a bruised testicle. The guy in charge here is this real a-hole named Ajax, but Wade makes fun of him because his real name is Francis. And now Francis fills Wade in. They're gonna fit him with a control collar and sell him to be a super slave. And so to escape, Wade blows the place up, but he got super healing powers, and so he survives. He doesn't want Vanessa to see him this ugly, and so Wade's quest is to track down Francis and make him reverse the procedure. And he takes the name Deadpool from the mercenary bar's betting pool of which of them would die first. So Deadpool goes on a revenge murder rampage to finally track down Francis. But watching this rampage with disapproval are the X-Men. Yes, Deadpool is in the X-Men universe, but they didn't want to pay to license the popular ones, so he only ever sees Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. So Colossus puts a stop to Deadpool's rampage, which unfortunately lets Francis escape. Deadpool goes home to recover, where he lives with a roommate, a sassy old blind woman who loves cocaine. But now the bad guys capture Vanessa, so Deadpool needs help from his X-Men friends. He gets a ride from his favorite cab driver, Dopinder, who Deadpool's helping with relationship advice, which Dopinder maybe takes the wrong way, because he kidnaps and kills her current boyfriend, his brother. So Deadpool has his final fight with Francis. When he wins, it's like time to make me handsome again, but Francis reveals it's not reversible. He's stuck this way for good. Colossus gives a speech about how real superheroes don't kill their villains, but Deadpool does. He's not really a superhero. So Wade finally reveals his face to Vanessa, and she's like, yeah, it's pretty bad. But she doesn't care, she loves him anyway, and so they live happily ever after. Until Deadpool 2, when a bad guy hunting him down, oh no, kills Vanessa. Deadpool tries to kill himself, but no matter what he does, he always recovers. Colossus tries to give him new purpose by having Deadpool join the X-Men, but Deadpool still never meets the rest of the team. Turns out they're intentionally avoiding him. Meanwhile, over at an orphanage for mutants, the headmaster's abusing this kid, Russell. Russell busts out of there with his fire powers, and Wade and the X-Men come in to stop him. But when Deadpool realizes the adults are the bad guys, he starts shooting them, which is illegal, so he and Russell both go to super jail. Meanwhile, in the future, a cyborg named Cable's family has just been killed. He time travels to kill their killer in the past, and it looks like he's coming for Deadpool, but turns out he's coming for Russell, who grows up to become a supervillain. And Wade's found a new life purpose to break that kid out of jail and set him on a better path. So Deadpool puts together a super team, which includes a couple celebrity cameos and a totally normal guy, Peter. So X-Force embarks on their first mission, but Deadpool ignored the wind advisory, and it was way stronger than he realized. All of X-Force ends up dying, except for Domino, who claimed her power is being super lucky. Deadpool didn't believe that's a real power, but turns out it is. But Russell has his own escape plan. He makes friends with the biggest guy in here, who crashes the whole prison truck. Yes, it is the Juggernaut, a fan favorite X-Men villain, and with his catchphrase, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch," he rips Deadpool in half. So Deadpool goes home to recover while he grows back his baby legs. Cable calls a truce, agrees to give Deadpool a chance to change the kid before he kills him. So they get a ride from Dopinder again to stop Russell from killing his evil headmaster, which sets him down the path to be a villain. Deadpool has a heart-to-heart with this kid, but right now Russell doesn't want to hear it. So Deadpool puts on the power-suppressing collar. "If you blast me again, I won't heal." Russell's too far gone, he's gonna do it anyway, so Cable finally shoots him, but Deadpool leaps in front of the bullet. He sacrifices himself to save Russell's life, which now puts him on the path of redemption. But with the collar stuck on, Deadpool is dying. But now Cable feels bad, so he uses the last charge on his time machine to go back just a little bit and put a coin to block the bullet. Evil orphanage guy is killed by Dopinder, and so the day is saved. But Deadpool steals Cable's time watch, gets it repaired, then goes back to save Vanessa. But he's not stopping there. Deadpool's going on a time travel rampage. He pays a visit to Wolverine, Deadpool's best frenemy from the comics, who he's referenced a bunch in both these movies. And they're finally teaming up in the new movie, Deadpool and Wolverine. To refresh your memory on Wolverine, here's a quick recap of the X-Men movies. The X-Men are mutants who get their superpowers from genetic mutation, and the main theme of the X-Men in general is that mutants are a minority group that face a lot of ignorant hate. Charles Xavier, Professor X, runs a school that's a safe space for young mutants to be themselves. But it's also a front for their super team of adult mutants, the X-Men. They fight against the villain Magneto, who is a mutant supremacist and wants to rise up and conquer humanity. So in X-Men 1, we meet Wolverine, a drifter named Logan with no memory of his past. His power is these cool metal claws, but also super healing, which he has in common with Deadpool. And by the way, Wolverine is Canadian, which he has in common with actor Ryan Reynolds, and will 1,000,000% come up. So Wolverine joins the X-Men, though at first he doesn't play well with others. Magneto's evil plan was to turn all humans into mutants, but with Wolverine's help they stop him. In X-Men 2, a teleporting mutant, Nightcrawler, comes to assassinate the president, but when the X-Men track him down, turns out he was brainwashed. Yes, the anti-mutant colonel, William Stryker, found a way to brainwash mutants, and this was his false flag attack to make all mutants look like bad guys. But Wolverine has a history with Stryker. He led the secret project where he lost his memory. Wolverine's claws weren't originally metal, it was Stryker who replaced all his bones with adamantium. Long story short, the good guys win, but as they're escaping, Jean Grey has to stay behind and sacrifice herself to save the others. Logan's real sad because he had a huge crush on Jean, even though she's actually dating Cyclops. But in X-Men 3, Jean survived, although it's now her alternate personality, the Phoenix. And good news for Logan, the Phoenix likes bad boys. But bad news, she's out of control and actually kills Professor Xavier. Meanwhile, they developed a mutant cure, and Magneto's having none of that. It comes down to a big final fight where Magneto is hit with the mutant cure, so now he's just a powerless old man. Jean, meanwhile, is out of control, and it's up to Wolverine to stop her, because he can heal as quickly as she destroys him. And to save the world, he has to kill her. Oh no, sad Wolverine. Then he had a solo film, X-Men Origins Wolverine. It famously begins with an awesome montage of American wars in the modern era. Wolverine and his brother Sabretooth, because of their regeneration powers, both don't age, and so they fought in all of them. In modern times, they were on a Special Forces super team with Wade Wilson, played by Ryan Reynolds. He had a big scene where he spun his katanas so fast he deflected all the bullets, which he made fun of in Deadpool 2 when he was riddled with bullet holes. Eventually, Logan ran away to become a lumberjack and he fell in love, but his evil brother found him and killed his girlfriend. Oh, sad Wolverine. So he went back to Colonel Stryker and agreed to do the experiment to make him stronger by turning his bones into metal, which, as you might imagine, is very painful. But Stryker betrayed him and tried to wipe his memory to turn him into Weapon X, so Wolverine had to bust out of there. Long story short, Wolverine led a jailbreak, but they were stopped by Stryker's other test subject, a version of Deadpool where they sewed his mouth shut so he couldn't make jokes, completely destroying the whole point of his character. In the end, Wolverine beats him, but then Stryker hits him with an adamantium bullet. Wolverine heals, but it leaves him with amnesia, no memory of who he is, which leads into X-Men 1. Then there was the Wolverine. After Jean died in X-Men 3, a sad Wolverine went full hermit. He's found by a Japanese girl, Yukio, who, by the way, was in Deadpool 2 as a completely different version of the character. He says goodbye to an old friend, a Japanese soldier whose life he saved in World War II by shielding him from the atomic bomb. But at his funeral, the Yakuza kidnap his daughter, so Wolverine's gotta rescue her. And it's one of those classic bodyguard movies where these two fall in love. In the end, it turns out it was her father who put the hit on her because her grandpa left her everything. And so it's a big samurai fight as Wolverine saves the day. But then there's still like an hour left as Wolverine fights this poison spit lady and a giant robot samurai, which turns out is the old man who's now a villain trying to steal Wolverine's powers so he can be young again. But in the end, Wolverine wins, and now he has a Japanese tech billionaire girlfriend. Now, in the 2010s, it's time for X-Men First Class. These movies star a young Charles Xavier when he was friends with Magneto, and together they recruited the first class of X-Men, and long story short, solved the Cuban Missile Crisis. It featured a memorable Wolverine cameo when Charles and Eric came to recruit him, and he told him he's not interested. But Wolverine was featured heavily in X-Men Days of Future Past. It was always assumed that in the future there'd be a big war between humans and mutants, where humans would have these giant robot sentinels. This movie starts in that near future where mutants are almost exterminated. To stop this future from happening, they send Wolverine's mind back in time to his body in the 1970s. Long story short, Magneto tries to take over the world, but this time Mystique stops him, showing humans that not all mutants are bad, and so the future is changed. In fact, the future has changed a bunch. When Logan wakes up, Jean's still alive, as well as Professor X, so, just anything's possible. In X-Men Apocalypse, as maybe part of this changed timeline, Wolverine has a memorable scene when he's mind-controlled by Stryker, and in fact it's a young Jean Grey who rescues him and he runs off. The The last one was X-Men Dark Phoenix, where they did the Phoenix storyline again. Long story short, it was bad and Wolverine wasn't in it. But he was in Logan, which was incredibly good. After everything, the future still ended up bad, and most mutants died out, not from war, but like a disease. Now Wolverine is just Logan, a sad middle-aged limo driver, and yeah, he's aging, his powers don't work well anymore. But now he's tasked with taking a young girl to a mutant safe zone, and her power is also claws. Yeah, she's kind of his daughter, because they used his DNA to make her. And so it's The Last of Us, as a grizzled old man has to protect a special young girl to save the world. Hunting them down is an adult clone of Wolverine, who is a mindless rage monster. Old man Logan can't beat his younger self, and he's famously impaled on a log. The kid manages to kill his evil clone, but Logan's powers aren't strong enough anymore, he can't heal, and it's a tearful farewell as Logan dies. So Deadpool might pick Wolverine up from anywhere in his convoluted timeline, or from a new timeline entirely. One other thing to be aware of is that Deadpool and Wolverine is the first of these movies to be officially in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Deadpool will certainly joke about this, including the funny things around character rights, like how Quicksilver was featured at the same time in 2 different movies as completely different versions of the character. And with Deadpool up to time travel shenanigans, he'll likely encounter the TVA, the Time Variance Authority. They're featured in The Loki Show. You can watch my recaps to get the full story, but long story short, they're exactly what they sound like. They're the time travel police. And that's it, now you're ready for Deadpool and Wolverine. If you liked this recap, hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV and movies.